Daniel. For this year's elections, I know you're feeling undecided. You're feeling like you're caught between a rock and a hard place. You're feeling like you may not want to go out and vote. I would like to urge you to go out and vote. And when you do on December 2nd, cast your protest votes on me, as your president. Vote the Progressive People's Party. Thank you.
BPP, away, Nanam Fancy. BPP, that's send them Bunchu. BPP, away, Nanam Fancy. BPP, that's send them Bunchu.
Hello, Daniel. For this year's elections, I know you're feeling undecided. You're feeling like you're caught between a rock and a hard place. You're feeling like you may not want to go out and vote. I would like to urge you to go out and vote. And when you do on December 2nd, cast your protest votes on me, as your president. Vote the Progressive People's Party. Thank you.
BPP, away, Nanam Fancy. BPP, that's send them Bunchu. BPP, away, Nanam Fancy. BPP, that's send them Bunchu.
Hello, Daniel. For this year's elections, I know you're feeling undecided. You're feeling like you're caught between a rock and a hard place. You're feeling like you may not want to go out and vote. I would like to urge you to go out and vote. And when you do on December 2nd, cast your protest votes on me, as your president. Vote the Progressive People's Party. Thank you.
BPP, away, Nanam Fancy. BPP, that's send them.
In 2013, we were running a budget deficit of close to 12%. Rising inflation, a depreciating currency, and spiraling interest rates. This created a negative outlook for both domestic and international investors. Our major strategy in the short term was to reduce the budget deficit and to tame inflation. To achieve this, we needed to implement some difficult decisions, including controlling expenditure, removing unsustainable subsidies, and
we're offering solutions that will take our country out of the crisis in which we find ourselves. I've heard the President of the Republic make the breathtaking claim that the economy is not in crisis. And he went further to suggest that those who say the economy is in crisis have bad eyesight. The President says that those who say our economy is in crisis are unpatriotic. Let me state clearly and without any equivocation that John Dramani Mahama cannot teach me any lessons in patriotism.
It will shock you to realize that only 86 out of these 631 promises have been delivered. So the percentage achieved is 14%, not 78%. And we shall prove it. In a few minutes, you will know that we are not joking at all. Agriculture. Out of the 74 promises I told you earlier, only 13 have been delivered. And in subsequent slides, we shall give you a detailed breakdown.
Ladies and gentlemen, the challenge was huge. How can an economy that could not afford to pay teacher and nursing training allowances suddenly deliver lower taxes, restore teacher and nursing training allowances, create jobs, implement free senior high school education, create NAPCO, planting for food and jobs, one village, one dam?
Okay, so welcome to Secret Fact. It's good to be with you again. We had our first episode last Sunday. Since then, we've been touring a number of places, particularly in Accra, to find out whether the promises made by this administration are really being achieved as it's been purported in some quarters of the administration. And here I'll be dealing specifically with the Ministry of Inner City and Zongo Development. It's key because you go to most of our inner cities and you wonder, are these places habitats for humans? It's amazing. And so when the issue of a government promise came up of setting up a ministry to deal with these areas, I guess everyone was really happy, especially those who live in those areas. We've toured a number of places this past week, Ashaiman, Medina, and of course, the almighty Ododo. And for me, it's not about telling you what my opinion is on the issue, but what I found out, because that is all there is with this program, finding out the facts as they are. And so that's why the name is Sacred Fact. And so today I take you to the constituency where we have areas like Jamestown, Amamumbu, Kolewoko, and a host of other places. And for you to know whether the promises made by this administration through its Ministry of Inner City and Zongo Development are indeed achieved. But before then, let me tell you, there's a very positive aspect of most of the areas in Ododo that for me, they are really, we've really neglected those areas. It has a wonderful attraction. Talk about a coastline, talk about its natural harbour and many other attractive monuments. But they are being left to rot. And so first of all, before we get into the details of the program, I'll take you through some of the attractive areas of Ododo, particularly Jamestown. And then from there, we ask ourselves, what happened? What went wrong that we couldn't achieve those, we couldn't develop those attractive areas for especially tourist purposes. So let's go. And as I take you through a ride through Jamestown, then we come to the real purpose of tonight's program.
The vast area constituting the Ododo constituency in the Greater Accra region lies along the Atlantic Ocean. Some of its suburbs include Jamestown, Amamomo, Akotolante, and of course, the famous Bukom, among others. It has a rich history. One of its suburbs, Jamestown, has the famous lighthouse which helped ships that were coming for slaves from the James and Asher forts to dock at their right destinations. While the Asher fort now serves as a prison yard, the James fort is one of the world's heritage museums. By its setting, the calmness of the waves and the flatness of the Jamestown coastline made it possible for the colonial masters to consider the Jamestown beach as a natural harbour. Today, many Jamestowners speak with nostalgic pain how they've lost their natural harbour to Takoradi in the western region. The decision to take the Jamestown harbour to Takoradi has resulted in Jamestown losing its major attraction. It has also led to an increased unemployment in the suburb. Promises by successive governments to compensate the people of Jamestown with a fishing harbour still remains a mirage. Many Jamestowners, therefore, sighed a huge relief when the Akufo Addo administration promised to build them the fishing harbour together with other coastal fishing towns like Keta in the Volta region and Axim in the western region. There is also the famous Manche Agbona, the Chiefs Forecourt Park that served as a pitch for Colts football back in the days. The Manche Agbona field served as a major recreation center for Jamestown Chiefs and their elders at their leisure, and also a curtain raiser, especially on Saturdays before the Sunday afternoon league matches involving their darling teams Accra Hearts of Oak, Accra Stand Fast, and Accra Great Olympics are played. Most top Accra-based footballers had stints of cult soccer at the Manche Agbona Park. Some of them were Yao Preku, Abu Imoro, George Lamptey, Nidako Ankara, Ahmed Rakson, Thomas Hammond, and other good old ones like Robert Hammond and Peter Lamptey, among others. Perhaps the most successful of these players included Abedi Pele and Stephen Appiah.
So you saw the cultured left foot of Abedi Pele, nurtured at Manchagbona. Let's watch one other superstar who's also started off at Manchagbona, Stephen Appiah.
Appiah gitti. Alex. Appiah.
Okay, so you've seen what Manchagbona has produced for Ghana. And today, I'm wondering if indeed Manchagbona is anything to write home about. If indeed we even consider it when it comes to writing a history about football in this country. But perhaps you're also not aware that Ododo has some wonderful, wonderful, wonderful indigents. Indeed, boxing's Hall of Famer, Azuma Nelson, is an indigent of Ododo, precisely a Mamomo. We also have some legendary high-life musicians like Kim Bruce and Jerry Hansen. These are all indigents of Ododo. So that should tell you that that place in Ghana has a history. It's just so sad that it's still wallowing in poverty to the extent that most of their homes even do not have toilet facilities. Yes, that is some of the issues that we discovered on our rounds. Before we come to that, let me take you through yet another journey for you to know that indeed Ododo is blessed with so many human resources and natural resources. Well, now we go to the human resources, and it is Azuma Nelson, Kim Bruce, and Jerry Hansen.
Other Ododo indigents attained legendary status in their fields of endeavors like high life musicians, Kim Bruce and Jerry Hansen. Their legacies, including their ancestral homes, are still held in high esteem at Amamumu, another suburb of Ododo. Boxing's Hall of Fame icon, Azuma Nelson, is another proud indigent of Ododo. His family house stands out in the Amamumu community with his uncle, Ajete Sowa, as the head of the home. He talks about how he nurtured and guided Azuma to become a professional boxer in the 70s.
It was two
If move on,
Come on.
Yeah. I think you want gold at the 73 All African Games. I can you say Brazil?
We are pure Ghanaians. All what happened was when the Ghanaians were descending from Israel, when we were coming, this is what I'll tell you. When the Ghanaians were coming from Israel, we passed a lot of places. What was right? Oh, come on, be to my colleague, and I think I'm going to come over. You didn't touch them, they won't tell you. I got nothing. Well, if I don't any, we'll buy telling me, we're going to tell you, take where me, the other guy, me, you go attack you. Come on, tell me, in a larger tip to qualify, you are getting here. Well, when the guys were coming here, what when I did that, he come here. What make me put to come and come I mean, I can put it up. When I come out, concept, the English will be over. Then what from them, what from them became.
Okay, so that was a brief about people from the Ododo constituency who have really made it to the very top of their fields of endeavor. One of them, Azuma Nelson, you saw the homes of some of these prominent people from that constituency. Here I'm referring to Jerry Hansen and Kim Bruce. We go for a short commercial break. When we come back, we will then situate the program properly with what the Minister for Inner City and Zongo Development has been telling Ghanaians so far. Now, after taking his take, then I'll show you whether what he says in any way conforms with what we saw on the ground. Let's go for a short commercial break. When it comes, the program continues. It's sacred facts, the facts as they are.
Now, what's my fear about the roof here and now? Come who's a million Yamidi? And Yamini, I'm not saying, can you put some in home? I throw me. Missy, I'm not paid for the paramera, Papa. Sunny rent us so, and one is coming to you, and if you're not best friend, we see our big whole dinner. Some minister are so for time and Thomas tell me I'm a say that. Oh, yes. Titru say 1 year pension, she be a infant. Now, but Nefia, can who 70 minutes in a missing house? Samson are Solemba, anti-mingy collection, and some family will be. One more at your humble pen trust, shepherd's trust. Family here, we say you. His son say, a year. Pension scheme, Yaya Ediama Asofo, and then sorry. Ubi person or join Libya or by anything. Oh, where the Yet in Gra? The here is our Beko pen trust for office beer. No one offer form, no one feel said the Abaya, Busumi piano, who bet you be a crabby and your pen trust for bank account. And I say on office beer, and I import on mobile money account. Shed na pen trust and so dear. I will come with Jima, O Jessica, Jimmy Bafu. Pen trust, shepherd's trust, co-pension, ewa mutu. A man from Fred Pen Trust, ewa 0302 901500, and I say 0501 149080.
BPP, away, Nanam Fancy. BPP, yes, sir. Send them
For this year's elections, I know you're feeling undecided. You're feeling like you're caught between a rock and a hard place. You're feeling like you may not want to go out and vote. I would like to urge you to go out and vote. And when you do on December 7th, cast your protest votes on me, Bridget Jubenuku, as your president. Vote the Progressive People's Party. Thank you.
PPP, away, Nanam Fancy. PPP, yes, sir. Send them Buntu.
Okay, so welcome back to Sacred Facts, and I told you that we will have a take from the Minister of Inner City and Zongo Development, what he has been telling Ghanaians, what achievement he's been touting all over the place. Then after that, we'll go to the ground to find out what he's been saying. They even conform with really the reality on the ground. So, Minister Hamid, if you're on the line, let's hear you.
The deplorable conditions at Ododo made the area perhaps the number one on the list of inner cities that were earmarked for major facelifts when the Ministry of Inner City and Zongo Development was set up by the Akufo Addo administration. The primary objective of the ministry is to deal with major infrastructural challenges facing deprived communities throughout Ghana. Sector Minister Dr. Mustafa Hamid explains.
Because the people who live in our inner cities are also Ghanaians, basically. And therefore are also entitled to live decent lives. And therefore, the responsibility that is on us as a Ministry of Inner City and Zongo Development is a very huge responsibility. Because of course, everybody knows that the people of our inner cities and our Zongo communities are the ones who, if you are talking about all of the poverty indicators in our country, are most affected. Lack of social amenities, which is why we are here. Because basic toilet facilities, I mean, it's something that in other societies they take for granted. I mean, it should not be a headache in other societies. Basically waking up in the morning and attending to nature's call. It's a nightmare for the people in our inner cities and our Zongo communities. And therefore, we envisage under this inner city household toilet project to bring relief to as many families as possible.
The minister further disclosed government's decision to partner the World Bank to help these distressed suburbs.
The World Bank and Ghana government was asking our households to make a contribution of 1,100 Ghana cedis. Is that correct? And then the rest will be funded by the World Bank, stroke Ghana government. Now, this project has been on for God knows how long. And still, many households, including the 52 that we are assisting today to get their toilets constructed, could not raise the 1,100 cedis because of poverty, lack of employment, etc., etc. And so we are hoping that now that we have come to your rescue in paying the 1,100 Ghana cedis for you, that this matter is off your backs. And therefore, what we beg of you to do is to free land or space in your household for this construction to be done for you. We beg you. My understanding is that there are some households where every inch of space in the house is a sleeping place. But really and truly, you ought to have a place in the household which will be designated as a toilet. And so we are begging you, let this project start immediately by doing your part. Now you don't have to look for money. It is not about money anymore. It is just for you to designate a portion or a place or a space in your household for the construction of the toilet for you.
Okay, so welcome back. And so that was the Minister for Inner City and Zongo Development. But let me tell you this. He addressed the people sometime early last year, 2019. So clearly, if they had anything to do on the promises that they gave the people, give me land and I'll help you with your toilet facility. I also pay the components from World Bank, 1,000 cities. This was made a year ago. So end of this year, it's close to 2 years. So we went to one of the suburbs in Odododio to find out their situation in terms of their toilet facilities, in terms of the environment, in terms of even their water situation, their roads. This is what we found out.
But after all these assurances, what has been the current condition of many of the areas that constitute the Odododio constituency? The roof of buildings at Kolewoku, a suburb of Odododio, depicts a distressed old area crying for immediate attention. For instance, there is this sustained and repulsive stench that welcomes a first-timer to the area. This is because there is constant dumping of debris and filth that have blocked easy flow and running of their gutters. It is difficult getting into the only toilet facility serving the people of Ayata, an area in Kolewoko, not because many people patronize the facility. It's simply an issue of whether a first-timer, for instance, will be willing to enter the toilet facility. The outer space and the surroundings of the toilet, to put it mildly, is just so repugnant and has the potential of transmitting diseases. Their roads are just as bad as those in other localities within Kolewoko. There also seems to be mass unemployment among the youth of the area.
So there's a bit about Kolewoko. We go into Amamambo and other areas. But we are still in a mournful mood, you know that. The passing of our former head of state and former president, the one longest serving president of the Republic from 1981 to 2008. We're still mourning him. So I want us to watch briefly as he lived, some of the things that he did. We're still remembering the legacy of Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings. After that, we come back to what we found out on our journey through Odododio.
In the flight school.
The Speedbird Trophy went to Lieutenant J.J. Rawlings for being the best Air Force cadet of the flying training school.
Having achieved his dream to become a pilot, he embarked on his mission to track Nana down to rekindle the flame with his childhood sweetheart. After a very long courtship, lasting almost a decade, they got married on 29th January 1977. 2 years into their marriage, Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings, like many other Ghanaians, frustrated with their deteriorating economic and political conditions, led a mutiny against the military government at the time. Following an unsuccessful uprising, what should have been a closed military trial was open to the public in an attempt to make scapegoats of Rawlings and his men.
For the first time in Ghana, a group of junior army officers had attempted to pull down a military regime made up of senior army officers. One could say that the abortive attempt had been brought about by extremely compelling factors. The trial of the coup plotters was very revealing. J.J. Rawlings, who boldly owned up as the one person centrally responsible for the attempt, gave cogent and infectiously popular reasons to explain why the attempted coup was justifiable. This titanic force, gigantic in all dimensions, broke loose on June 4th, 1979, with J.J. Rawlings coming out of condemned cells to lead yet another military regime.
During the AFRC's short stay in office, they underwent a house cleaning exercise of weeding out corruption in the system. The AFRC did its best in the short space of time to throw a searching light into the dark recesses of corruption in the country. After 3 months, they handed over to a civilian government under Hila Liman.
The Armed Forces Revolutionary Council, during our short stay in power, have demonstrated openly what many people had only suspected before, namely, that the holding of office in government in this country had in almost all cases been used to plunder the wealth of the nation. Ghana is looking up to you. Thank you.
The political and economic situation of Ghana did not improve, and by 31st December 1981, the Third Republic had been suspended to be replaced by the Provisional National Defense Council, led by Flight Lieutenant J.J. Rawlings.
And so that was a bit about Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings, virtually from the jaws of death to the highest office of the land. That is the beginning. That was the beginning of the Rawlings story, or the Rawlings factor in Ghanaian politics. We go for a short commercial break. Then, of course, I will, for those of you who perhaps might have joined us, we'll go again to situate the program properly for you. Then we continue with the other areas that we visited during our rounds.
BPP, send them
Hello, Ghanaians. For this year's elections, I know you're feeling undecided. You're feeling like you're caught between a rock and a hard place. You're feeling like you may not want to go out and vote. I would like to urge you to go out and vote. And when you do on December 7th, cast your protest votes on me, Bridget Jobenuku, as your president. Vote the Progressive People's Party. Thank you.
PPP, away. Na no fancy. PPP.
Oh, Papa, I'm ready to miss Cat. So, if you have a mission household, now what's the high fear about the rich and apple? Come on, who's a big Yamadipa? And Yamini, I'm not saying, can you put one slamming? I throw me. Missy, I'm not paid for the Paramera, Papa. Sunny rent us so, and one is caffeine to ya, and if you're not best fan, I'll be who dinner. Some ministers are so for all time, and so must tell me I'm going to say that.
Oh, yes. Titru say 1 year pension, Shabia and Fantu. Now, but Tinefia, can who 70 minutes in a machine house? Samson or Solemba, intimate collection, and some family will be. One more at your Humbo, Pen Trust, Shepherd's Trust. Family, here, Museu. His son say, a year. Pension scheme, Yaya Ediama Asofo, and then sorry.
Ubi person or join Libya or by anything.
Oh, where the Yet in Gra. Dear here is our Beko Pentra for office Bia. No one offer form, no one feel said the Abaya, Busumi Piano, who bet you be a crabby, and you have Pentra for bank account. And I say on office Bia, and I import on mobile money account. Shed na Pentras and so dear. I will come with Jima, O Jessica, Jimmy Bafu. Pentrust, Shepherd's Trust, Copensi, Ewa Mutu. A man from Fred Pentrust, Ewa 0302 901500, and I say 0501 149080.
In 2013, we were running a budget deficit of close to 12%. Rising inflation, a depreciating currency, and spiraling interest rates. This created a negative outlook for both domestic and international investors. Our major strategy in the short term was to reduce the budget deficit and to tame inflation. To achieve this, we needed to implement some difficult decisions, including controlling expenditure, removing unsustainable subsidies, and
we're offering solutions that will take our country out of the crisis in which we find ourselves. I've heard the President of the Republic make the breathtaking claim that the economy is not in crisis. And he went further to suggest that those who say the economy is in crisis have bad eyesight. The President says that those who say our economy is in crisis are unpatriotic. Let me state clearly and without any equivocation that John Dramani Mahama cannot teach me any lessons in patriotism.
It will shock you to realize that only 86 out of these 631 promises have been delivered. So the percentage achieved is 14%, not 78%. And we shall prove it. In a few minutes, you will know that we are not joking at all. Agriculture, out of the 74 promises I told you earlier, only 13 have been delivered. And in subsequent slides, we shall give you a detailed breakdown.
Ladies and gentlemen, the challenge was huge. How can an economy that could not afford to pay teacher and nursing training allowances suddenly deliver lower taxes, restore teacher and nursing training allowances, create jobs, implement free senior high school education, create NAPCO, planting for food and jobs, one village, one dam?
And so that is why we are here today. We'll have some 15 or 16 days to election 2020, 7th of December. But we are helping you to make an informed choice based on the promises made by political parties on their campaign trail 4 years down the line. What has this government achieved? They've spoken a lot about what they've achieved, touting it all over the place. We had a very simple job of going to the places to find out some of the promises that they claim they've achieved them and make it bare to the Ghanaian people. And so today we're dealing with the Ministry of Inner City and Zongo Development and Novelty by this administration. This is the first time that we are having such a ministry that is supposed to be helping the inner cities and the Zongos to develop really good development, and also help them establish basic infrastructure and amenities, to help in their daily lives and all that. So today, on a secret fact, we went to the Odododio constituency. We've spoken about the beauty of the place, the attraction of Odododio that has been left, to rot. We've also gone to some places and indeed seen how bad some of the places are. We've also spoken about some prominent people who are indigents of Odododio. We go again on our fact-finding mission, and this time around to Amamu, a suburb of Odododio.
Similar situation exists at Amamumu, where there are old-fashioned houses with bad roofs, poor drainage systems, and bad roads. In their case, all the link roads leading to a major commercial center like the timber market are too bad to encourage customers or patrons. An opinion leader of the area, Ni Kuntunse, highlights the plight of residents.
Majority go down. Obe toilet baby ene kula o maybe ta flash toilet ele ka mi wa te se manke na go down mi 50. Because je house se fe ko ni your toilet. Je ranen. O toilet is an gba wona wa. 2 water problem. Odododio ne half of it now kula e almost 15 years kese ne. 16. Wona nukula nu baby e kula nu e majority e keje jomi ke ya konkoma nu e ba jeme si keje jeme ke ko gon ke ba nu e ba kula water west what 37 wakama awie ameba ama fle ko ma mi e ba she bi nu e bomba e ba she ko ele agbene e ba dun what regional je na wa cha me ke ba ama kwe shi wona ka shi most of the time water west be New York jeme onu pa ko New York na kan je egbe they are aware aka nu e ba nu amegbla amekani na egbla pumping machine kan bi egbla wo nu le ba kla wo dododo ni anija mo amobi ene we big problem wa ye nu san e je na do le ke tank e ko ma machi tank le je ko me ma bi ko me ma jo ni ma bi ele le je wo na na nu e ke ba shi ko me ba shi enyo wo nu san le ke toilet ele san le gba wo na wa le bi ene wo kenyo ba nyenyo wa wo alo government wa nya wa wo fi o odododo bi ene ba ngon wo na wa le nche light enwe o problem ni yo light e peji bi ene underground cables bi underground etuni don e ko me fe fite no overhead enwe bi ene fan bi ye ko fan bi be ko mi fe transformer gbagbo e fe ajetima market inside na me use machine se je me wa wo kem ekole la je ko one side allo machine se ko touch no bo light je fe te off e bi wo pa fa wa le nje na ba wo ko overhead na ba fi one overhead fe ko road by road fe one overhead je me e ba wa le nje bi wo mi fi oyo mo no.
There is only one water tank that serves the people of a large catchment area at Amamumu. Residents would have to struggle to get water from the water tank each morning. To be able to draw water earlier enough, one would have to queue with barrels, buckets and others in order to ensure that one beats the water traffic. The water tank is situated on a junction of one of the worst roads in the area. Ironically, the road leads to the only toilet facility in the area, as well as the only hospital within the locality. Ni Kuntunse talks about the perennial shortage of water in the area.
ndopolenche kumo gallons ni mamo bi ene keshe gbekele gallons akwa mamo shi pini bi ene fe yo le tun no mo han wo ife akenu san le kometo le gbawo na agbene road ehun to binu mo yo e won road na sha ni odododo ene ne ke kumo toilet ni wo yo peji toilet ko bi government toilet ni yo bi e ko mi enyo eta wo ko ba manke tafra che do ba na nga tafra che mo ba ni amise jeme no fi no fita ni ame ya toilet ame wo gota je ami shike mo fi mo yo toilet e shian if like ke mo nke po lo musu la bodo te shian o yo toilet e shian ba yan wa shike ane bele bale toilet e ko be jeme ba so no te shian mo ko po nu gbeke no te po ni ba yen le je se gbe o mi te ba fete e ba fi awu gota o pa go fete fa ya me bo mo de ana me wa wo ka wo road e titiri road e yin kula mi majority e dene no lo le jin chun ke ya gbogbo shin mokola fe bi e na me chun o pa go fete fa wa ke nu sani ele di step wo wa leji wo na nu because ke nu boy e wa o go fete bi an yen sure ke kula next month no apa kan hamo bi me wa flow no ko no ji big problem ni ka wo pa fa wa leji.
So, that was Amamomo 7 of Ododo. It mirrors similar situations in all inner cities that we visited. Medina, Ashaiban, Sukura. We are talking about Accra. We haven't even gone beyond Accra. So, supposedly, the nation's capital. This is the spectre. So, what happened to the Ministry of Inner City and Zongo Development? Mind you, last week we were at Nima and its environs. Very dire situation there as well. Not only that, government also claims it has given $1 million to each constituency since it came to power, meaning that 4 years it has given each constituency $4 million. For which development? Sorry, we have yet to see in the areas that we visited. We're not here to do politics for anyone, no. Stating the obvious and the facts. Because Ghanaians need to be informed properly to make the wisest decision, not a family decision. I was born into it, so no matter the situation, I go direction A or I go direction B. No. It's about time we also interrogate those promises and achievements that politicians claim they've chalked over the period of their tenure in office. Next Wednesday, we'll be dealing with sanitation. There's also a ministry in charge of sanitation. But this time around, we try to go beyond Accra to other parts of the country to really find out what really is the situation in those parts of the country. Hopefully, today's week, Sunday, we're dealing with the almighty Galamsey to find out, prior to the coming to office of this administration, what the situation was, and currently, what has been a situation, despite the fight against Galamsey. Hopefully, today's week, we're doing that. But just watch this space. Wednesday, as we look at sanitation, the Ministry of Sanitation is being established. How much has been given to that ministry to fight the sanitation or the filth menace in the country? We give you that figure, and then we ask ourselves, through the findings that we'll make, whether indeed the money allotted for that ministry is worth the cleanup exercise so far. So then, have a wonderful evening. I'll catch you up on Wednesday. The program has been Secret Facts. My name is Richard Kielson. See you Wednesday.
In 2013, we were running a budget deficit of close to 12%, rising inflation, a depreciating currency, and spiraling interest rates. This created a negative outlook for both domestic and international investors. Our major strategy in the short term was to reduce the budget deficit and to tame inflation. To achieve this, we needed to implement some difficult decisions, including controlling expenditure, removing unsustainable subsidies, and
we're offering solutions that will take our country out of the crisis in which we find ourselves. I've heard the President of the Republic make the breathtaking claim that the economy is not in crisis. And he went further to suggest that those who say the economy is in crisis have bad eyesight. The President says that those who say our economy is in crisis are unpatriotic. Let me state clearly and without any equivocation that John Dramani Mahama cannot teach me any lessons in patriotism.
It will shock you to realize that only 86 out of these 631 promises have been delivered. So the percentage achieved is 14%. 14%, not 78%. And we shall prove it. In a few minutes, you will know that we are not joking at all. Agriculture, out of the 74 promises I told you earlier, only 13 have been delivered. And in subsequent slides, we shall give you a detailed breakdown.
Ladies and gentlemen, the challenge was huge. How can an economy that could not afford to pay teacher and nursing training allowances suddenly deliver lower taxes, restore teacher and nursing training allowances, create jobs, implement free senior high school education, create NAPCO, planting for food and jobs, one village, one dam?